Alright, before we start, this video is brought to you by you guys for, if you didn't know, my throne has gifts you can purchase, and if you purchase those gifts, I have bonus audios to unlock for you guys, and other things for you guys to unlock to get more bonus stuff out of me. Make sense? Alright, it's complicated, I'm sorry. Thank you all for watching this, and I hope you enjoy this dense lore video. It's hard to explain, but I can start from the beginning, I suppose. Before the gods, even before the immortals, when there were only dragons in the air. You think that would be interesting, don't you? Let's continue then. It all started with the dragons, 9 of them, born from one, a being that no one has concept of. Yet here they are, from their flesh. Some say that the dragon was lonely and decided to split themselves into 9 parts. Some say there was an ancient beast from the far realm that came to attack, and he was not powerful enough alone, so he split himself into 9 pieces. Whatever it may be, there was 9 of them. And it was simple. Yes, quite simple. More simple than what we have now. Drakan, Kython, Zetos, Tezonak, Galzarin, Apala, Dagahara, Fravnor, and Starvos. All of them different aspects of godhood. Together they formed the world, the prime material plane. And that's where we are. Unfortunately, they had no servants to build for them. This world brought to life an empty plane of darkness. Dagahara hated this place. He thought it was too dark and depressing. He decided to form the sun, give this world life. Apollo, his brother, thought it sad that the world did not have anything else other than light, and so he granted it life, with Zetos and Apollo crafting the first beings of this planet. Zetos crafting the trees, Apollo granting life to the first beings that he crafted out of stone in his own scales, the Dragonborn. And from there, more were made. You see, Tezonak thought there should be more than just one. One race is too much to own the world. In all of his wisdom with Apollo, they decided to make more. They made lizard folk, kobolds, and turtles. Unfortunately, Kython thought that without struggle in this world, there would not be any form of happiness. So he crafted beasts of the sea. And Galzarin thought it only befitting that some of these beasts roam the land. Kython unfortunately thought of some of these things as a perversion of his own creation. Hundreds of years he became disgusted with what was made. He wished to make it all in his own image. Kython and Starvos crafted together. Both of them wanted complete control. They involved their brother Frovnar to try to make the most of this. Frovnar did not care for either one of them, so he slept far away from the world, up in the skies. He curled up in a ball and allowed nature to take a course on him. Frovnar became Eros. Kython and Starvos became upset that one of their brothers left them, and so their first eyes were set on Zetos, who created trees that grew past them, sizing miles higher, and brought the seeds of Yggdrasil here. Together, they both took tooths from each of the dragons in promise of making the stars. But unfortunately, Starvos and Kython lied to them, and Starvos crafted a spear, strong enough to enhance his powers and negate the powers of his brethren. With this, Kython and Starvos went to war and slayed Zetos, one of their own siblings, dead. Dagahara and Apollo thought this disgusting, as the two eldest of the brothers. Dagahara took his power and banished Starvos to the opposite side of the sun, trapping him in a realm beyond realms, known as the Hollow, crafting his spines into the trees of the Hollow as a dark reflection of the world he wished to create. Apollo thought the wisdom of the world could use the power of Kython, so Apollo, with all of his might, trapped Kython within the world, fueling magic, creating the world. And thus, magic was born, given access to the mortal races. Am I going too far for you? Though Fravnor made the sky with Eros less lonely, he thought it'd be better to fly out, pick off his scales and place them in the skies. And thus the stars were born. But unfortunately, Drakon felt bad. He was scaleless, and his brother was dead. Zetos was gone. And thus, with the rest of his life force, he decided to use the stars as the first resurrection and gave his life for Zetos to come back. For Drakon thought himself to be an arbiter, but he believed that Zetos could balance everything out. And thus, Drakon was no more, and Zetos was back. And so Zetos cried upon his brother's death. Drakon, the rest of the brothers that were still there, wept. Their new godly powers could not bring back Drakon, yet they still tried. Granting him a place among the stars, they moved the stars into a perfect representation of him. And thus he was born into the stars, forever in their minds. The Dragonborn made castles in his honor. The spiraling keeps represented the reaches of Drakon would like to do for his brother. And thus, dragons began to craft a world of which all could be happy, and no violence could come out. But you see, that's not the only story out there. It's just a thought of it all. Well, what I mean is that I am not as old as them. I was not there for this time. This is not my world. I am multispherical. I'm not from here. Neither are you. So, the question is, do you believe this is true or not? It's for interpretation, really. I only came around after them, the Immortals, the 13 who sealed the dragons away, limiting their power. How were they born? That is a question. The Immortals, all 13 of them, trapping the dragons in their own magical prisons. They had help with the first of the Immortals, Odlin of Avernus. Born from the magic that Drakon did. Drakon made the heavens. The stars came together and unlocked the material plane into other planes. Angels and demons were born, and they fought upon this world. Zetos and Groslin did not appreciate this, and they made them come to truces. No battles on the material plane. They must stick to the planes below for their blood war. And thus, a truce was made, and some demons and some angels fraternized to create the Nephilim, the first of man. Odin of Avernus was the first of them all, the most powerful magic user ever to be born, and he was the first of the immortals. He saw that the dragons did not care for the other races as much as he did, in his own twisted way. He thought them ruling with an arm's reach was not okay. He felt like they should be out there talking with everyone. Odin, on the other hand, was corrupted with his own magics. His body withered away, and he thought, this is unfair. His children did not have immortal lives. The dragons lived forever. And so, out of the magic of the earth, using the power of Kython, he cursed all of the draconic races to have mortal lives. And when they came for him, Odin's son drank from the blood of Kython to gain himself powers and call himself Dragonbane, the second of the immortals. And thus the war of the dragons and the immortals wars began. It's quite funny. The gods are always fighting. The immortals may not be considered gods now, but their powers are indescribable compared to you and I. For they're from a different realm. What I mean is much more. Reality is different for you and me. You can see it. In fact, you hear it right now. Whatever you're listening through. Oh, I apologize. That was not meant for you. But listener, it was meant for. I apologize to be so confusing. Being one who represents reality, I can see past this. Please, have a good night. Oh boy, I hope that wasn't too confusing for you all. It's, yeah, it's Patreon shout-out time. It's bonus audio, so Patreon shout-out. Let's continue. Milo Stout, Juliana, Wolfware, BJS, and Just a Stray Cat, thank you all for being patrons at a $5 level. If you guys want bonus safe work audios, you can go on to Patreon for $1. And if you want bonus not safe work audios, $2 more for not safe work audios, such as Damokos, our sexy incubus boy. So it is 1:47 a.m. I think I should probably go to bed, so thank you all so much, but I need to sleep.